Good evening. It's 6 o'clock and you are watching 13 News at 6 o'clock. At this hour, storm chances are increasing and we do have the threat of severe weather tomorrow.
Yeah, nothing tonight though, but we do want to get you set up for tomorrow, and Angela's tracking it.
Yes, dry for now. Storm chances increase tomorrow, and you mentioned that severe threat, so we'll walk you through the next 24 hours. What you see on radar, as expected, storms to our south. They have been heavy storms producing lots of rain, some flash flood warnings across the northern sections of Kentucky. What you need to know for tonight, local radar is clear, and what we show you on radar down to the south, that is not moving our way, impacting places like Vincennes and Evansville with heavy rain and lots of lightning. However, our storm chances will be on the increase over the next couple of days. We take you south into Bloomington, where we've got a mix of sun and clouds from Bloomington to Bainbridge. Again, some sun and clouds. It's warm out there as expected. Temperatures well into the 80s. Right now in Indianapolis, we have 87 degrees. That is also the high for the day so far. 87 in Muncie, 85 in Bloomington, and 82 degrees in Richmond and Columbus. It's going to be a warm, muggy, dry evening. First pitch at Victory Field, 7:05. You'll need some extra water. It's warm out there this evening. Back close to 90 for a high tomorrow. Then those storm chances start to increase tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. Most of central Indiana at a level 1-2 threat. I'll have the hour-by-hour timeline in just a few minutes.
All right, Angela, thank you so much. Well, we're now learning tonight that the fight over higher AES electric bills is far from over. In fact, consumer advocates now are asking state regulators to reconsider that recently approved rate hike.
So many customers are telling us that they're already struggling to keep up. Tonight, our State House reporter Emily Longnecker met a woman who tells her that falling behind on her electric bill actually set off a chain of events that ultimately left her homeless.
I'm one of these people. You get up every day and you do the best you can.
It's an attitude 68-year-old Deb Rogers learned during the toughest moment of her life, watching her daughter die of cancer.
Because when you watch a 23-year-old child, to me, dying of cancer and still being positive every day, I feel like I don't have any room to complain, you know?
Staying positive, though, has gotten harder over the past 6 months after Deb became homeless in January.
So I would say in an average week, I spend maybe four nights in my vehicle.
This Jeep is where Deb sleeps most nights. The other she rotates between friends' couches. It's never where she thought she'd be at 68.
It sucks. It sucks.
Deb says the road here started a few years ago when her utility bills went up.
My bill doubled or more than that. So I called them and I said, make this make sense.
Deb says she got on a payment plan but still couldn't keep up and got behind.
I come home one day and my electric is shut off.
She says she applied for energy assistance to try and get the lights back on, but the wait was too long, even if it had come through, though.
It wouldn't have mattered because I still couldn't pay that bill, you know, that size every month.
Deb says when she told her apartment manager the situation,
she said, we can't have anybody living without electricity on.
So Deb made the decision not to renew her lease, knowing at that point, with her utility bills now higher, she couldn't afford them and rent too.
I couldn't pay it all. And let's say I could, I wouldn't have a penny to live on.
We hear stories like that all the time, and it's heartbreaking.
Kerwin Olson is with Citizens Action Coalition, CAC, a utility consumer advocacy organization. CAC, along with the state agency that represents utility customers, filed petitions with the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, asking them to reconsider the AES rate hike approval.
Folks are struggling. The affordability crisis is real, and this order is something that I hope the commission revisits, using stories like this as illustrative examples.
For Deb Rogers, she's not sure if anything will make a difference in her case.
The hopeless and helplessness, I think, is the thing that bothers me most.
A feeling she was able to fight against before, even after losing a child. A fight she just doesn't have in her anymore.
I feel like it's over. You know, I have no hope.
In Indianapolis, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Tonight, police are telling us that foul play is not suspected in the death of that 4-year-old boy who was found in a creek on the west side of Indianapolis. We first told you about Corbin Merrill last Saturday after he went missing from his home near Lyndhurst and Troy. Several hours later, emergency crews discovered his body in the creek bed of Mars Ditch. That's just down the street from the mobile home where the boy lived. The Marion County coroner told 13 News earlier this week it could take 6 to 8 weeks to determine his cause of death. A task force focused on stopping illegal gun possession says it's seeing actually results more than halfway through this year.
The Indiana Crime Guns Task Force says it's already taken dozens of illegal weapons off the streets. Ashton Hackman looked into this today and now shows us how investigators are finding the guns and the people who are behind them.
And they say this task force is not only finding guns that shouldn't be on the streets, but also people that shouldn't have them. Efforts that are helping to reduce violent crime across central Indiana.
Every click, another illegal gun, another criminal case. Since January, officers have seized 143 illegally possessed firearms and 14 machine gun switches. Investigations that have led to 127 arrests so far.
This isn't grandma and grandpa who have a gun in their house. These are criminals who have a vast criminal history sometimes, including homicides, involuntary manslaughters, aggravated assaults.
IMPD says the effort is showing results. At this point in the year, criminal homicides in Indianapolis are down nearly 20%. Aggravated assaults are down nearly 30%.
Inevitably, when you get a firearm out of the hands of a violent criminal, your violent crime rate is going to go down.
In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
When you vote this fall, you will be seeing school board candidates listed by party. A new Indiana law makes school board races partisan for the first time.
Our Jenna Webster looked at the data about this and found that about half of the candidates in the state of Indiana did decide to choose to declare a party preference.
The Indiana School Boards Association says it's hard to know if there's any surprises here because this is just so new for the state. But let's show you what this candidate breakdown actually looks like.
More than 1,000 people are joining a school board race. Half chose to declare a party affiliation. Of those, the overwhelming majority are Republicans, followed by independents and Democrats. That's according to data collected by the ISBA, who historically opposed the legislation. The executive director says they'll be looking at who's elected and if it impacts how the school boards govern.
Perhaps down the road, the division along party lines could lead to dysfunction of the school board. And once again, we'll try to help say, hey, here are your core goals and duties. Keep an eye on, your vision for the community, your strategic plan ideally, and doing what's best for students.
One interesting thing with this new law, let's say a Republican is elected to the school board, then vacates the seat. It's then up to the Republican Party's precinct committee to select the replacement. The school board gets to choose if the candidate did not declare a party. In Indianapolis, Jenna Webster, 13 News.
Radar is clear on this Wednesday evening. Storms south. I'm timing our local storm chances in your forecast.